Good morning, sewing friends. It's the Cursing Seamstress. I'm back so quick. I just did a video the other day. I have made something. I think I've spoken to you before about a pattern company called 5 out of 4. I think they are a wonderful company. The company is owned by a woman who lives in Atlanta. I think she's originally from the northwest part of the state. But she designs, and she has others who work for her who design patterns. And I find the fit to be very, very good. I find the designs to be a real fit, unlike, in my experience, the big one or whatever it is now, the Simplicity and McCall's patterns. These patterns seem to fit real people, real bodies, much, much better. And I've made several of their patterns, and I have found that to be true for every single one. So the pattern that I made, I had downloaded this pattern, I don't know how long ago, a few months, maybe 3 months ago. It's called the Rita Fitted Skirt. There are several variations of this skirt. And I'll tell you the one that I made, and I'll try to remember the other ones, but it's so simple. It's for knits, and I used a French terry. But for example, this is the main piece. This is cut on the fold here twice. So you cut 2 of these for the front and the back. And this is the waistband. This is cut on the fold. This is the kind of waistband that you see on yoga pants and other skirts. It's the kind that you cut and then stretch to fit the waist of the skirt. She recommends it's a vent in the back. I was going to say pleat. It's not really a pleat, but it's a vent. And you do that by creating a small facing. I didn't bring that, but it's just a little facing piece that you center on the back bottom of the skirt. And then you cut up the center and then cut a V and then fold it onto the wrong side and then stitch around it. Very simple to do. The other versions, and I hope I have this right, but the other versions are a color block version where I believe you are cutting, I don't remember, you're not cutting one piece on the fold. And then there's the version where you cut the front piece on the fold, the same piece that I showed you, but the back piece you cut into 2 separate pieces. And that way that vent is sort of more easily done because there's that center seam. And there's also the version to attach a waistband that does have elastic run through it. I think I'm covering everything. I may have missed something, but I encourage you to go and look at their website and to sign up for 5 out of 4 Tipsy Tuesday. It's where the owner of the company comes on and talks to you. There's a giveaway on every single one, which I have won on one occasion, and it was great. So I'm going to stand up and show you this. I am very pleased with it. I'm going to make it again. I've got some knit stuff that I can use. It fits well. I wear a 12 in ready to wear. In the big whatever 4, I have to cut a size 18. In this, I cut, this is good too with her patterns. You can cut only the sizes that you need. So I cut a medium and a large, and I cut right between the medium and the large, and that was perfect. So I'm going to stand up and let you look at the skirt. This is what I'm wearing today. All right, so hold on just a sec. Okay, I hope you can see this. Now, this is the skirt. It's pretty, it's very curvy up here, and tight fitting at the below the hips, at the hips. There's the little vent in the back. And I'm wearing this shirt that I got from Goodwill. Here's the top. And it's great. It feels wonderful. French terry is great to sew with. I will say that when I sew with knits, I like using that seam tape stuff, that fusible stuff. It's just a strip that you iron on to excuse me, the bottom of the skirt, and then you peel off the paper that's on top, fold up the hem, and then iron it down, and then stitch it. And you do not have to use a zigzag. I did use a zigzag, but you're not really having to worry about stretching out the bottom of this skirt at all. And that makes for a really nice hem. You don't have to worry about waviness or anything like that. So that's pretty much it. Gosh, you can really see my sewing room and how crowded it is. That's it. Today is Sunday. Church has been canceled. Gatherings of over 100 people or 100 or more people have been banned by the state. Schools are closed. All schools, public schools, private schools. I don't know what's happening with the college I work at. Their communication is pretty terrible. So I imagine I'm going to have to call tomorrow and ask if I go to class or not. So anyway, and this is for 2 weeks. It may be extended. Our priest is live streaming church through Facebook. So I will participate in that. After that, I am going to go out to eat at a local restaurant. There are usually 2 or 3 restaurants that we go to on Sunday. So we'll go to one of those. But I'm not a traveler anyway. Corona has been found not in my area, but in an area an hour away. Coronavirus is in, I think, Hampton. Somebody died in Hampton, Virginia. It's in Virginia Beach. It's in Raleigh. It's in Greenville, North Carolina. And so it's in the surrounding areas within an hour. I don't want it. I'm 63. I don't need it. I don't think that it would kill me. My worries about Corona are not so much that I'm going to get it, but the effect in general on the United States, on workers, on certainly the travel industry, on the elderly, on people who lack resources to be able to get out and get food, and just how much things are going to shut down that might affect supplies that we need. I tend to be a hoarder of things, and so I have alcohol, I have Lysol wipes, I have Clorox, a couple of bottles of Clorox, I have Lysol spray. I've had that, all before this virus became a thing. And if you're interested in a really good article, I don't have the article name at hand, but it was on a website called Vox, V-O-X. And I think the title was something like What China Did Right. And of course, it's much easier to do drastic things when you are a communist country. But they acted immediately with their testing and with shutting things down. And I don't know, and if you don't want to listen to this, you can just stop and not listen to me. But I've thought of China as a third world country. I think of them as being, places with big factories, air pollution, restricted rights, and poor health care. And in actuality, their services for health, according to this article, are really good. And as a matter of fact, every hospital, according to the article, is equipped with multiple ventilators and at least one or two machines called ECMOs, and that stands for extracorporeal mechanical oxygenation, I think. And that's where they remove your blood and they circulate it and infuse oxygen in it, put it back into your body. And that's for people for whom the ventilators are not working. That's amazing that they have those machines. I asked my daughter, who works at our local hospital, if they had one, and she said no. And the closest one for us is Duke, which is 2 hours away. And also China had testing immediately. When they saw that the Wuhan area was out of control, they started mandatory testing, isolating people, shutting down the factories, and of course the virus apparently has peaked in China and is now waning. So I thought it was a fantastic article, and I learned quite a bit about China's healthcare. Whether or not they offered these ventilators and the same healthcare to the elderly as they would to younger people, I don't know. One thing that was pointed out in the article was that China did have some younger people who died, but apparently there's a very high smoking rate for men in China. And they pointed out that that was probably one of the reasons that they had deaths in some of the younger people. When I say younger, and 20s and 30s, that kind of thing. So anyway, washing your hands is fantastic. That's going to help you with, if you touch something that somebody sneezed on or whatever. But the disease is transferred airborne. So even sitting close to someone and they're breathing on you and you breathe in that air. So sure, hand washing, disinfecting, non-porous things are great, and you should do those. Wash your hands when you get home from being out. Wash your hands. You can get the wipes after you pump gas, after you touch, buttons, doorknobs, whatever, and you're outside. Anyway, that's all. I didn't want to go off the rails too much, but I am a nurse. My daughter's a nurse, and this is big. It's unprecedented. And also be careful of rumors. A friend of mine who is an educated person, she's actually a former reporter and editor of a particular part of a newspaper, one of the moderately big ones, said that President Trump had drastically cut funding to the CDC for communicable diseases, including pandemic type illnesses, and I could not argue with that because I'd not heard anything about that, so I really just listened and didn't respond. And then 2 days later I went and looked it up at factcheck.org and found that that was absolutely untrue. No monies have been cut to the CDC for this or anything that the CDC does. Somebody said it, a couple of senators repeated it, the media got hold of it, somebody on The View repeated it on that show, and people were up in arms about it, and it's not true. So, I don't know, be careful. Try to check what you hear. Not all of it is true. So be safe, and that's one thing you can do. You can still order fabric. I think things are getting back up and running in China. I don't understand the run on toilet paper. That has me puzzled. I can certainly understand a run on Tylenol and ibuprofen and cough syrup and disinfectants and things like that. Toilet paper, I don't know where it's made, but it seems to me that it's not going to be short in supply. It probably is now because there's been a run on it, but I mean, you can use washcloths, you can use baby wipes, you know, that's just not the most important thing to focus on right now. It's very strange to me. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.